Welcome to Geekazine's virtual conference coverage 2020. So we have Marika Roque here. She's from Curve, and Curve is pretty interesting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, who you are?
My name is Marika Roque. I am the Chief Operating Officer over at Curve Interactive. We are a patented video technology, and you can actually use our tech in a slew of different ways, but the main focus I really wanted to dig into today was the object level precision and specificity that our patent powers. And during these really interesting pandemic times, we were able to expedite several feature releases that really capitalize on the object level interactivity that can fuel commerce in a very safe and relevant way. Our patent is at that ability to identify and process any object in any frame of any existing video asset at its curved pixel edge and make that interactive and or pass that metadata, just depending on how a client would want to use the tech.
Yeah, like for instance, with this video, we could identify who I am, who you are, my website, your website, and special offers or anything like that, correct?
That's 100% correct. And the pixel precision would, not only would I be able to identify you and myself, you could identify my scarf separate than my shirt, separate from my headset, and all of that be done at the pixel edge so that the user experience is very slick, and also the data that processes it on the underlying machine learning side is very, very precise. Our technology is able to process around those obstacles and return very clean data and user experience around them.
Yeah, we see on your website, we see this golf club in which if we play this, basically we click to explore, and then what that does is that's going to bring up different frames in which you can then go over to the frame to do the rollover.
That's exactly right. So what you're showing here is the front end user experience. It's all very modular, so you can change things around. That is actually an approved asset that we ran for in partnership with Callaway. So you can actually see in that green glow, that is the object level precision that I'm talking about. So you can actually see that tool is overlapping his hand as well as this golf club, and you can navigate between the two seamlessly. And the overlap is completely seamless with our tech on the back end.
How hard is it to put that together? I mean, somebody's got to sit there and figure out the corners and everything like that, right? Or you have it all AI?
So it's AI to about 98%. So that 2% point there is really just QA. Every once in a while, we'll get a shadow or something like that. Yeah. As well as we have this new tool where you can select a couple. Let's say it's an item that's not in our image recognition library, which doesn't happen that often. But let's say that it does happen. You can actually select 3 points on any object that was not identified, and the tech will automatically quote unquote curve that. So to your point, we don't have a large it's a very, very low error rate on the AI side, and we have a tool that very, very quickly comes in and scrubs and in an automated way through our Radius platform can correct that. So we own and have this patented technology through the front-end user experience, as well as build all of it inside of a platform, which we call Radius, which is also all homegrown as well. And then the last thing is the very amazing and specific data that we yield. It also kind of is accessed through either API or inside of that platform via a homegrown reporting dashboard as well.
How much of this is customer created as opposed to you guys? Do you guys take the reins and make it happen, or do you guys give customers an interface and say make the magic happen that way?
So that's a really good question. So currently we are alphaing, giving customers the reins to the platform. So actually testing out a SaaS-based product. To this point, we have been doing the work in partnership with our clients. So they basically contract to us, and we'll quickly turn assets for them. And we do it in a way that's still software driven. So they can submit a request for us to process a curve via a login. And then when we curve it, we hand them an approval tool that's also software driven to make things really easy for them. Okay. I do want to walk you through why we approached it that way. So in the majority of online video content, whether it's branded content, long form content, or ad content, people are not used to having the ability to have hundreds of objects and even just a minute of content be interactive. Okay. So we noticed that a lot of folks didn't have the staff to really kind of power this. So I think that now companies more and more are adding those types of folks to their teams. People who are between a producer and an ad operations manager is kind of where our tech falls. And we are going to allow clients to own that piece in the case that they want to moving forward. We can get assets back to them in a business day or under. We've worked with folks like Sephora and other really big brands, and they've all worked with us in that capacity. Yeah. But very, very integrated into their team so that their teams drive what's interactive to feed whatever that end goal is.
Now, I noticed one of the clients is eBay. So does that mean that there's going to be is that an internal eBay, or is that going to be like if I post something online, I'll be able to use the technology to enhance my sell?
So great question. So far, eBay is using it on their branding side of the business. So we work with the eBay agencies. We actually won a Lumiere Award in partnership with something we did with eBay and their media and creative agency at the time. But they used it to really communicate during the holiday season why eBay is the go-to place for commerce and gifting. And they did a really good job of thinking about our technology and pairing it with already, beautiful creative assets. They had several, so this is a great one. They had several creative assets, and you'll see in this one that there are frames that have here that, children's toys and, anything he has on can be curved, not just the pixel. Here, anything she has on can be curved. So they did a really good job of seeing a great connection of curve to their site. Okay. Knowing their site basically has and sells all of these types of items. We had to get some learnings there because we actually sold out an ATV very quickly after we launched the campaign with them because the tech was so successful at driving directly to the product page.
And I noticed that the girl's tongue is not highlightable, just the glasses and and everything else. So that's pretty cool. So
I actually want to touch on that. So our technology, the way that the hierarchy breaks everything down is it identifies, it kind of analyzes the whole creative as a whole. Mm-hmm. Then it will break apart the scenes, and it does all this very, very quickly. But once it breaks apart the scenes, in every scene, you can actually identify a vertical of the objects that you want it to recognize through the image recognition library. Let's say the face in general, for like a Sephora or a makeup category.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We actually pride ourselves on the ability to identify the lips and the eyelashes and the eyelids and that sort of thing. But if it's not a makeup category, then we do not want to identify those sorts of features. So you can actually do that inside of our tech at the frame level. I'm
assuming that it also allows you to be able to cancel something out. Like for instance, let's say this actor right here, something goes different and they don't want to show her face, so you could probably blur out that face as you go. Or if you're doing something more in store and you just didn't have permission of somebody that passed by, you can take the AI engine to focus on that person and just kind of get them out of shot.
That's absolutely right. And our tech, not only do we have an image recognition library to power automated recognition, but to your point, we can also customize and or delete objects that it recognizes sizes so that they never launch that way. We work with a very large headphone company. Their goal was for us to, share why their headphones are the best headphones to, use in market. But they work with a lot of very famous talent. They cannot make that talent interactive. It's not in the contracts that they have with them. So what we do with our Precision is, like, if I pretend I'm a famous singer, our tech could actually get, around the curved pixel edge of this, so we can make this interactive. And because of our precision, we can actually curve that, even though I, famous singer, have it on. But we avoid me completely and only curve the item here. Yeah. And then we can also curve the background if we want to add additional information about why to buy the headphones and that sort of thing. We can guarantee that we will not touch the talent at all with the interactivity. We'll delete them as an object and really just focus on the object of focus.
How close to real time is it? Let's just take this video, for example. Let's say we're going to deck it out with my merchandise and those headphones and hair product, because I use a lot of hair product. From stove to table, how long does that take?
I would say give me a 10-second delay and we could have it done.
10 seconds. Mm-hmm. So we could literally be doing this live if somebody's ready at the helm to be switching things around.
Correct. So we were actually speaking to a large sports company before all the COVID about processing their data for the purpose of identifying and quantifying logos in scene, time spent, certain things where the object level recognition would matter for them. But we're thinking about processing it in real time. And that company actually has a 7-second cuss delay. And we were actually planning on processing that content within that 7-second delay so that it was like having the data that we process in real time.
Well, yeah, because the cussing probably wouldn't interfere with what you're doing unless you're doing something where if they say a word, all of a sudden the word just shows up on screen. I don't know if can you do verbal stuff too?
We are adding audio to our metadata right now. We will be probably done with that by the end of the month. Okay. So we can use audio cues inside of the scenes as well. So yes, today we can actually associate audio to the object level, which is really cool. So you got to think about really iconic noises. Like we put a mock together for Ghostbusters, and the Ecto one has a very specific. Ghostbusters has so many iconic sounds. So imagine tapping or cursoring over an object and having a quick sound, something that you own, of course, but a quick sound by playing. We can actually do that now at the object level, which is really cool.
Let's talk a little bit about how people go about getting this system so they can utilize it on their websites.
If you're talking kind of about pricing and business model, we currently work with agencies, brands, at a CPM level. It was a business model that existed, an economic structure that the ad space was very comfortable with. Same with the publisher side. So we are very, very efficient in that, and it allows us to watch the volume that runs versus the volume that we process, knowing how quickly we can do the processing. Yeah.
Marika Rock, thank you very much for your time. Where do people go to find out a little bit more about your information?
Yeah. Thank you for the time as well. You can check us out on curvit.com. We also have a product team, so product@curvit.com. We're all kind of sitting behind that email. I'm behind that email. And we will you can see here as well, you can request a meeting there. So there's a few different ways of getting in touch with us. The majority of us sit down in Austin, Texas, so we're all happy to hop online. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you very much for your time. That's another company from the Virtual Conference Coverage 2020 at Geekazine. Since I can't go to the conferences, I'm going to have the vendors come to me. If you're a vendor, if you've got a product that you want to show off, if you've got a service that you want to talk about, let me know. Tweet me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in the Geek, and let's get on air and talk about it for Geekazine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell notification to let you know when the next video comes out. for the Virtual Conference Coverage 2020. Jeffrey Powers here. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, you guys geek out.